Hi everyone, welcome to this video on how to activate your electronic resources in Alma. Before we get started, you do have to have the right role assigned to you in order to do eResource activation. If you are a library director, chances are you most likely have the role to do this. If you're not a library director but another librarian at one of the colleges, you will have to check and see. To find out if you do have the right role, you need to go to your user details. So you go to the little person icon at the top, and then go to user details, and this tells you what roles you have assigned to you. If you scroll all the way down, this tells you your roles in Alma. In order to do electronic resource activation, you need to have the electronic inventory operator, which is right here. You also need repository manager. You need one of those two roles. You might be a repository administrator. If you are a library director, chances are you have these roles assigned to you. If you do not have these roles assigned to you, you need to check with your library director about getting these roles assigned to you. So that's the first thing that you have to have in order to do eResource activation. Okay, so a little bit of background on how eResource activation works. You can kind of think of it similar to how our book collection is set up. For example, we kind of all use the same catalog, so bibs are activated for the entire system, and we would all share those bibs for the books, and then you attach your holdings and your items to the bibs for your college. So it's kind of similar with the eResources. We're going to activate databases, and those are going to be kind of like bibs. So the group ones like Academic OneFile and Academic Search Complete, we would activate them one time for the entire system, and then we would set our group settings for each college. So the activation of Academic OneFile would be like a bib, and then the group activations would be like the holdings and the items. So this could get really complicated since 16 different colleges are all going to be kind of using the same activations. So I think in order to manage this, it's probably a good idea to set up some kind of spreadsheet where we can all look at what's activated and what's subscribed to by each college. So I've gone ahead and set up a spreadsheet in SharePoint. So the first place you want to go is into SharePoint. You go to My Path and you go into SharePoint. Then from SharePoint, it's in the Alma project. So I'm going to go down to the Alma project. And in Alma project, it's in Alma Documents. And we've set up a folder there for eResource management. And in the eResource management folder, if you go to the spreadsheet databases by college, this will load a spreadsheet showing all of the collections that we currently have activated in Alma. So I've gone ahead and activated as much as I can for the databases that we subscribe to in EBSCOhost, Gale, and ProQuest. So those should all be working, and those are the shared databases that we get through either KYVL or through our arrangement with the system office. So if you kind of look at the spreadsheet, the first thing is the EBSCO databases in purple. And below that, you'll notice that some of these are highlighted green. If it's green, that means it's activated in Alma. So the first one, for example, is Academic Search Complete. Now, there's two names here. There's the common name. So if you go through the database and you go through the database interface, the name of the database will be one thing, like Academic Search Complete. But it's also important that you get the correct name in Alma, because these database names are all going to be very specific in Alma, and it's probably just a good practice to have the Alma name on there as well. So, for example, Academic Search Complete in Alma is called EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete. Sometimes the names will differ quite a bit from what you see in Alma and what you see in the database interface, and there might be some examples on here that I'll point out as we're going along. So Academic Search Complete, that's the name of the database, and then you'll notice that it's been activated in all of the colleges, for all of the colleges, since this is one of the databases that we subscribe to as a group through KYVL. So an X means that it's a database that the college subscribes to. We all subscribe to Academic Search Complete, and it's highlighted green. That means it's activated in Alma. So if you do a Primo search right now, you should be getting stuff from Academic Search Complete. If you go on to like the next one, the Agricola database, which most of you know is not a full text database, that's something that we get through KYVL, but it's not available or not worth activating. This is something that we really don't want to have show up in Primo. I've gone ahead and found out that we can't activate it in Alma, because some databases you can't activate. Alma doesn't have the information necessary for a lot of the databases, depending on whether or not the database is indexed in the Primo Central Index. So if it's not available or just not worth activating, like in the case of Agricola, we do subscribe to it, so I did mark these as an X for our colleges because we do have access to it, but it's not activated. Okay, so it's not up and running in Alma. So we'll kind of go down the list. The ones in green are the ones that are activated and ready to go in Alma. The ones that are not in green are, again, not available or just not worth activating at this time. Newspaper source, we ran into some issues with that one, so it's just not working yet, but it should be once we hear back from Ex Libris on that one. So this is our KYVL stuff mostly as you're going down the list. We'll get down to some of the ones that are not subscribed to across the board. And I'll get back to selective databases, these things that are highlighted in kind of a light orange color. But I want to get down to the Focal 5 databases. So these are databases that only a few of the colleges subscribe to. So they've been turned on and activated in Alma. You'll notice they're in green, and the colleges that do subscribe to them have an X, and those are highlighted in green. So we got the Focal 5 activated. Okay, now selective databases are the ebooks for the most part. So our ebook collections, you'll see the academic ebook collection, the regular ebook collection, which I believe includes the net library books, and then the community college collection. Not everybody has all of this stuff. So for example, the ebook community college collection, you'll see Ashland subscribes to it. They're the only one. None of these are activated yet in Alma, and the reason for that is because they are selective databases, and I'll explain more of that later. But that's a little bit more complicated than just turning on something like Academic Search Complete. So if it's selective, it's going to need more work. If it's a regular database, it's either going to be in green because it's activated, or it's not available or not worth activating. If we move on to Gale, pretty much see the same thing. We have the Academic 1 file and the opposing viewpoints in context. Those are subscribed to and activated for all 17 locations. Some of the other ones, Health Reference Center Academic, for some reason the System Office in Hopkinsville don't have access to those. Nursing and Allied Health Collection has been turned on and is activated. You'll notice that some of these show up as available. These are the Academic 1 file subsets, so like the Pop Culture Collection. We could activate and turn this on in Alma at this point. It is an available database. I just have not done that yet. It's not really been a high priority to get those up and running at this point, since they are just subsets of Academic One file. So going down the Gale list, a couple other ones that we all subscribe to: Health and Wellness Resource Center. And then I've turned on some local databases as well in Alma: Biography and Context for Big Sandy, Nursing Resource Center. So these are local. These are ones that are only subscribed to by certain colleges. I was able to turn on those and activate those in Alma just for those colleges. ProQuest, we all have the Alt Press Watch and the Career and Technical Education Database. Those have been turned on and ready to go. eBook Central is a selective database because it's an ebook collection, so we're going to have to do some work on that one. Then we get into the smaller ones that are more local, so not everybody subscribes to these ones, but I was able to turn those on and activate them in Alma for those colleges. Going down the list, ProQuest Central, the only college that subscribes to that is Madisonville, and I have not turned on and activated ProQuest Central. Okay, so that takes care of our ProQuest, Gale, and EBSCOhost databases. Those should be turned on for the most part and running, including the local collections that only certain colleges subscribe to. The other database that is turned on and running at this point is the Credo reference, which most of the colleges subscribe to. Not everybody does. So those are up and running in Alma as well. So what will happen now is it's going to be up to the individual colleges to turn on and activate their local databases. I know some of the JSTOR stuff has been activated, but other than that, so some of the other collections like Newsbank or Alexander Street Press, those ones are not turned on and activated. So it's going to be up to the libraries and the library directors to do that on their own. Okay, so the next video will show instructions on how to do that, and then we'll also get into activating the selective collections, and that's going to be a little bit trickier. We'll get started with the next video.